So UFC Steve Garcia versus David Onama. This shit's garbage. Like, like I've seen it's kind of crap. Yeah, like this is what we're getting for fight nights. I know Apex. I know this is the sort of shit we have been getting for a bit. I did stream this on Tuesday, and I know this is a bit late notice, but yeah. Let's start. First card. The first fight on the card is Talita Alencar versus Ariane Canalosi. It- You know, we'll look at we're looking at this on Tuesday night, and shit. I hate changing like my picks because you know Talita Alencar is very scrappy sort of chick. She likes to strike and mix in takedowns. She's 6-1 and 1. Her you know and she's a knockout artist, and she's a Talia's a jiu-jitsu specialist. She was in IBJJF for over 10 years before she came to the UFC, and she just looked real impressive. Like, she hasn't like fought in 2 years, which is insane. And, like I used to go for stats and stuff, and I'm just going to talk about the fighters themselves. So yeah, but yeah, man, I think the leader's just very impressive. I'm pretty sure she would have. Hold on, lost her last fight. Could be wrong. But yeah, my pick is Toledo. I think she's just been more of an active fighter, and yeah, she's like the favorite on this card. She's $1.40, and it does show. I think decision Ariana Cook fight to take out of there. Next fight. Shit, sorry. Phil Rowe versus Sang Yong KO or KO. I'm just gonna call him KO. Man, Phil was been out for about 3 to 4 months ago and beat Angel Lusa. Now, mind you, he was getting dominated in that fight until he found the, which was very impressive in some way. But Lusa quits apparently according to Brian Battle. So yeah, I mean, Phil Rose had a very win-loss career in the UFC, so I can't judge much. He lost to Jake Matthews, which is a pretty dominant decision, and I think before lost to Neil Magny. So yeah, he's on a one-fight loser who's pretty mid-weight. Okay, performance was against Oban Elliott, who was an up-and-comer himself. He stopped the hype, and I think KO's honestly just in that performance. He showed a lot of striking. Do I think to his name is he going to KO Phil Rowe? I don't think so. Can't either see Phil Rowe knocking out KO. Obviously, can. I don't see Phil Rowe knocking out KO. I think KO is gonna be crafty. He's gonna mix in the takedowns. He's gonna go with his striking, and I'm gonna go KO by decision. The next the next high. Phil Rose, the underdog at 250, and say on K. Yeah, sorry. The next fight is very WMMA, which is, I'm gonna be honest, WMMA has gotten better. Let's talk about the fight. So I found out I don't know what the hell's going on because she's got 700,000 Instagram followers, which is the stupidest thing I've seen, man. It's I don't know like what's going on. It's very confusing or something, but she's kind of looked pretty like I think she's lost her first two fights in the UFC, like very average competition, like Sean O'Bannon, who I don't rate that highly, and Melissa Martinez, who was very whatever, all by decision. She is a decision merchant. No surprise there. Yeah, she looked very unimpressive. She's into the UFC 10-5, 9-5, sorry, and yeah, I don't really rate her much better either. Like you know, her last fight was in 2023. She's taken basically 2 years off since her last fight, and she was her last KO'd. Now, mind you, Ruiz's competition have been way higher than fucking Elise Hardeline's, whatever. It's like she got knocked out by Amanda Lemmer. She got knocked out by Jacqueline Namora. She got Eduardo Mora. I think with the like, 'cause Alice is like fighting regularly. Like she fought on the Gamma, which was not that long ago, man. So I think with her recent, like her fighting just more recent, her being more of a decision girl, and her just and like not taking too many knockouts, and I think Alice is gonna. This is as low as it gets for with like fighting. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go Alice by decision again. I think this is a bit of a up. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she's $1.26, which I don't think it should be. I mean, Ruiz is $4. I don't think it should be that far. But here's a fight I can't believe how like down the card it is. Caitlin Vieira versus Dumont. That's crazy. This is a tight way bout. Caitlin Vieira. We all know Caitlin Vieira. He, my God, I'm so bad with names. Like, oh, she beat Misha Tate. Um, she beat she beat Kinziad. She beat Chassion, and like yeah, she lost to Kayla Harrison, which is a bad loss. So yeah, she's very like brawler sort of fighter. She's just yeah, she's got good grappling too. She's not too bad in the grappling. Kayla Harrison couldn't get her out of there, which was pretty impressive. But Norman Dumont, she's just looked way more impressive to me. Like Norman Dumont's on a pretty sure a 5-5 win streak. Like she beat Irene Aldana in the last fight. She beat Duranda Randomly. She beat Chelsea Chandler, Carol Rosa, and just that like win streak and not being so much of a win-loss fighter does help your case of why I should pick someone. And like her Norman Dumont's two losses are like I think it is strange she lost to Chassion. I think that might have been a little bit of a robbery if I do remember. But I think Norma's just looked more impressive, and I think she's like I can't say she fought high level because Caitlin Vieira literally fought. Um, my brain is fried. Kayla Harrison. So I think normal just gonna like stick to her striking, take her down, and get a nice decision. A lot of decisions, I reckon. This card one won't be a decision. This one, Dante Johnson versus. Um, no, we all know Sariki's fucking. I forgot to say I keep forgetting to say the friggin' odds, which is yeah, Norma Dumont's a favourite at $1.50 and Caitlin Bureau is $2.50. Sariq Dumas is I don't know how he's still in the UFC because he's a very win-loss fighter. His last fight was a no contest and then a loss and then a win, which is yeah, I don't really know how he's still like he's just beaten the worst middleweights in the UFC. He had just beating and he's losing to I'm not gonna say the most average middleweights because he like Ruziboyev is an actual like killer in the division. So he like I can't say that's terrible, but Ola Jacek I don't really rate him. He's not as good as his brother. Michael Ola Jacek knocked him out in the first round, which yeah I didn't really rate that win. And then he kind of gave up against Zachary Reese, which was ridiculous. But I think the UFC is honestly just trying to get him out of there, out of the UFC. It's just sick of him. They've got this Dante Johnson fella who's 6-0. I watched some of his tape on the stream. A knockout artist. He just knocks guys out like within the first like round. He's got crazy power. He's a light heavyweight going down weight, so that's also going to help him. And I just don't think Dumas is going to give him any trouble at all anywhere it goes, like on the ground or in striking, unless I see Dante. Like I didn't see him struggle too much on the ground, so I don't know. I Dante Johnson by first round knockout. This is the first, and this is the heaviest favorite on the card. Oh, it's gone up. Dante Johnson is $1.20, while Cedric is $3.80, and that is probably the line. I probably will be choosing Dante Johnson by first round. Next fight is Timmy Cucumber. I kept saying Cucumber. It's just easier in my head. Versus Chang Ho, who is from um Road to UFC, which is the Oceania and Asia tournament. He's looked like half decent. Like, oh, Chang Ho Lee's gonna run through Cucumber, but Cucumber, who he beat like recently, was pretty impressive, and his style's very like rangy, sort of in your face. And the two guys he's lost to is really good, man. Like I rate like his recent win pretty highly, and the two guys he lost to, like Belagioki, who's you know very high level bantamweight, and Lucas Almeida is a really good not bantamweight featherweight. Well, even though those are losses, those are they're not the worst losses to have on your record. He's a very rangy striker. I could see him catching Chang Ho Lee, but Chang Ho Lee, man, he he beat Xiao Long, which I think Xiao Long's a really good fighter, and he knocked out Cortavius Romanus, who honestly I think like giving Chang Ho Lee some troubles in that fight, but like Chang Ho Lee's got some heart in him. I see like a lot of heart out of Chang Ho Lee, and he's a really good all rounder. While Cucumber like has his troubles in certain areas, like a little bit of wrestling. So I think Chang Ho Lee either by a T or decision, and the odds are very even, which I do like that. I think I could see a world where Cucumber just knocks Chang Ho Lee out, like stumbles him a bit for the finish, and then Chang Ho Lee goes for a panic takedown, or I could see a world where he catches Cucumber and then just marauders in because he likes to do that when he's going for the KO. But I'm gonna go Chang Ho Lee by TKO in the third round. I think there's gonna be a late stoppage possibly. But the next fight, excuse me, very low. I'm gonna say low level because very surprised of how big of because Billy Elikana in his last fight looked fucking horrible. It was probably the worst fight I ever saw. It was against Ibo Urslan, which we know how terrible Ibo Urslan is. His first two fights decision against Urslan. And losing to Buskon Guskov is not a terrible loss to take, but you can't be having a decision a very it looks fucking two heavyweights that didn't. It looks like Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou. That's what the fight looked like the whole time, and a lot of people have been choosing Billy Elikana because this is a short notice bout, but I think Kevin Christian, who did look alright on the contender series, there was a lot of if Billy thing, I just see Kevin Christian coming in going for his weird strikes, taking him down and getting the submission of Billy Elikana, which is choosing one of the heavy underdogs on this card. I'm choosing Kevin Christian. Now Billy Elikana is $1.37, which is I don't even think it should be that far in between, especially his last performance. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was pretty shit. But yeah, we'll go on to the next one. I think Kevin Christian by submission or decision. I think more of a decision because Anyway, on to the next. So we have Alan Nascimento. They finally changed it. They changed it. My computer's terrible. Okay, Alan Nascimento versus Cody Durden. Another short notice bout. You know what? I hate Cody Durden. You know how many of my multis were ruined? Yeah, I'm a classic sports better. Nascimento, his last two wins, was it? I swear they were wins. Yeah, 3 wins, actually, sorry. Very impressive. Jafel Philo isn't an easy fight at all. Flyweight. He's been real good. I'm gonna be honest. I'm cooked. Holy shit, my brain's cooking me. So, Alan Nascimento, I swear every time I watch him, he's very on the outside, and he's always trying to take shots. Cody Durden's the same. Cody Durden sucks. I just don't know. There's something about Cody Durden that actually pisses me off. Every time I see him fight, he's always making the wrong move. He's 1-5 or 1-5 in his last fucking 5 fights, man. He's on a big losing streak. I just think every time I see him lose, it's either by a KO or a submission. And I'm very surprised Joshua Van went Cody Durden, but I'm pretty sure he nearly got him out of there a few times. So, I know I was just fucking rambling during this matchup, but I'm gonna go Alan Nascimento by honestly a KO or a submission even. I think he gets him out of there within the first 2 rounds. Alan Nascimento is the favourite because Cody Durden did take this on short notice. I think Cody Durden knows on his way out. So yeah, I'm choosing next fight. Jesus, Charles Radfranza. What was that? Jeez, some of the people they days, eh? I thought this was accumulated in the UFC, but I don't know. Charles Radke's first fight was Blood Diamond, which I'm not gonna. I'll just talk about his last three fights. He's 3 for 1. He got knocked out by Carlos Prates. Prates is really impressive. He KO'd Mathel Samuelsberger, which I don't know how Samuelsberger was still this at that point. And then he got KO'd by Mike Malott. So being honestly, he's been getting KO'd a lot. Hold on. I just I don't think that looks good, man. Because getting KO'd a lot. He got KO'd this year, and he's coming back in November, which is insane. Like he should be taking time off for that. And it was a pretty bad KO. I'm pretty sure Mike Malott got him with. So yeah, I chose Charles Radke on the original pick, but Daniel Franza, I seen Daniel Franza. I'm gonna be totally honest. I think I don't know. I don't know who he is honestly. He lost to Reese McKee, which I always get Reese McKee. I always get him confused with Court McGee for some reason. I'm pretty sure Reese McKee is pretty good. So I don't know why, but I feel like Daniel Franza might actually have a chance in this fight because opponents have been Blood Diamond can't wrestle for shit. The Beaner brothers are all shit. What was his other win? And Matthew Sammersberger Burgers. It's kind of like they're just giving him. I don't know why they want to give this bloke so many chances. So yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna do a real risky one. I'm gonna choose Daniel Fraser. I have a feeling he's gonna come out better in this fight. He can come out better than Charles Radke. So yeah, Daniel Franz is 230 and Charles Radke's $1.60. And yeah, on to the next. Daniel Franz by knockout. Yeah, that's my pick. This I was pretty sure these are two before one of them did. They both. I always get confused because. Oh god, that was this card. Terrible. I can't stand this card, man. Oh my god. You have Isaac Targaryen versus Yada Valley. I'll just um yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen these two fight, and I'll watch them. Tomorrow. Obviously, I think by I was talking about it. I was looking them up, and they're very similar fighters in the way they fight. Very close knit. Very both finishes. Like Isaac Dalgarian's a big finisher, and Diwali's spreads it out a bit more with a decision submission and KOs. I was, I honestly onto I think Valley was gonna win this by a decision. I don't know why. I just had a feeling he would. But a lot of people aren't credit at all. Like he's an undefeated guy from Cuba, and he's $3.11, and Isaac Dalgarian's $1.37. So I think the the Valley, the Valley's by decision. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. Um, yes, the next, but I can see Isaac because he's a really good fighter too. He's had two finishes in his last three. And yeah, on to the next. The next fight, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, this is terrible fucking. Like, it's not a terrible matchup. It's just a terrible. You know, I don't rate these two. I know them because I've watched them since they came into the sport. And, like, Jeremiah Wells, he's just looks so unimpressive. You know what I mean? Like, he's just. Like, he hasn't done anything to really. Like, he's on a two-fight losing streak to Max Griffin. Max Griffin, I'm pretty sure he's out of the UFC. I'm. So is Carlston Harris. He lost by submission to Carlston Harris. This is also another blood diamond, and which is insane. Like, I thought Wells was real good, and then he got Carlston Harris, and you know, fuck, he just like he's looked terrible since the Carlston Harris fight. He just did nothing in his last fight against Max Griffin. And Themba Grimbo ain't much better. Like, this is like little bottom of the barrel matchmaking. He was on a 4-fight win streak before. Now I know like a lot of people were very high on Themba, but Themba was given was given Nico Price before he's lost to Vicente Luque, and Vicente Luque has looked terrible in his last 4 fights. You know what I mean? 4 fights or 3 fights? I can't remember. As Vicente hasn't looked good in his last 2 fights, and Themba crumbled with the step up. This is a wrong favourite fighter. I don't know why. Just fucking. I don't think he's that good, but I do think he's good enough to beat Jeremiah Wells by a crafty decision. Yeah, I just Jeremiah Wells is that good, and I think he's just beating. But yeah, I think Themba Grimbo by decision. The next fight, which should be the main, I don't know why this isn't the main event. It's very strange that they've done this. Like, how is Steve Garcia and David Obama, like, how are they the main event? It makes no sense in my mind. Like, usually, even though they're heavyweights, like, they should be up here. I'll do my little rant in a bit. But yeah, what? So we've got Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Anti Delija. Waldo, he lost to Pavlovich real recently. I didn't do the odds for Jeremiah Wells and Themba Grimbo, sorry. Um, Jeremiah Wells is 210 and Themba. It's about right. Delija and Cortez Acosta. Cortez Acosta, he was on a win streak coming all the way up to Sergey Pavlovich, which is no shame, honestly. Arlovsky by decision. He beat checked fraud checked Spain. Holy shit! Knocked out Ryan Spann, which is Jesus Christ. Spann can't catch a break. Decision Spivak, and then when it came to Pavlovich, he didn't do too bad in that fight. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I thought he did a lot better than people gave him credit for. He's was never gonna work against Pavlovich. Work against Anti Delija because don't get me wrong, Anti Delija like fucking mowed down Marcin Tybura within a round. That was about 2 months ago. I could see a world where Anti Delija out again, but also in another world I could see Anti Delija rushing in just like Aspinall and then get which shit. And yeah, like, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go Waldo Cortez Acosta by decision, maybe TKO in the third round, but this should be the main event in my eyes. Like, this should be the main event. It's a heavyweight bout, and they're ranked higher than these two. Let's get on to this shit. the main Steve Garcia versus David Obama. So, oh my god, my fucking computer. So, have been real impressive. I'm pretty sure Onama is on a 4-5 win streak. He's on a 6-fight win streak. Steve Garcia beat. Alright. It's alright. Okay. Ah, shit, wait. Steve Garcia is on a 6-fight win streak. And, man, like, I think Steve Garcia, I didn't say it. I don't give a shit about the odds. I'm going to keep talking. Steve Garcia is super impressive in his last few fights. So, like, he's on a 6-fight win streak against some real top names. Like, he beat Calvin Kattar, by a fucking decision, dropped him heaps of times. He beat Kyle Nelson, who's a fucking tough matchup. Or, no, he's gone to lightweight. And Suhu Choi? Yeah, Sung-Hoo Choi. Is that the Superboy? Yeah. He's a tough fight too, and he fucking knocked him out in one round. So, I think David Onama, not inconsistent, but he hasn't looked as impressive in his last few wins. And honestly, I watched that Giga Chikadze fight. I could have seen a world where Chikadze got that decision. And he looked real unimpressive against Jonathan Pierce as well. And, we a decision win. While further down the card, Cucumber, he beat. So I'm gonna say Garcia by knockout in the second or third round. Hell, even the first round. The odds are $1.70 to $2.10 for David Onama, which is, I'm very surprised Steve Garcia isn't a favorite. So yeah, I'm gonna rant about this card. This card sucks. Like, the placement, especially the people on the card that, like, already should have been cut. This being the main event, which is shocking for the UFC, but yeah, man, I just can't understand what's going on. Like, anti-delusion Walter Cortez Acosta should be the main event. Norma Dumont versus Caitlin should be either the co-main or at least the third fight on the card. It's just like the UFC just can't keep putting on these garbage cards. Like, next week we've got worse than this, which is insane. Not garbage. I'm not saying the fights are garbage. It's a great fight. I'm just saying it's a main card fight. Like, I can't keep defending the UFC on this shit. I can't stand it, dude. And honestly, I've just started MMA YouTube, and this is terrible. This is terrible shit. This fucking main event. So, I don't know, man. It's just, yeah. Look, man. This is my first video for YouTube, so if I'd love to do this again. Give the channel a like, give it a subscribe, and I'll see you later. Yeah, thanks. Bye.